I've generally tried to make a video 3 times. Sorry. My baby's right here. My baby's keeping me company. But before I start anything, I want to say, Love Island is entertainment. Like, it's entertaining, it's cute, it's fun. It's I kind of have notes. Love Island is entertaining, it's fun, it's cute, like, it's drama, funny. But one thing that Love Island is really, really good at is showing us societal themes and what Love Island looks like. Like, how the society within that villa looks like and how it mirrors our own. And another thing that is so important is how we react to Love Island. I think that is a big social theme. The reactions to Love Island and the reaction to these islanders and what they're doing. Because honestly, Love Island is just a mini, what we call it, it's just a mini society that very much reflects our own. I do think so. Very much reflects our own. And we see the same patriarchal themes in the villa as we see outside of the villa. When I was trying to record this video, I started at 3 a.m. It's almost 4. When I tried to record this video, it was initially about how the fandom space has become overrun with these manly macho attitudes, like these cis men with these macho attitudes. Because honestly, like, tonight, Twitter was in a little uproar. Like, Twitter was in a little uproar. People were, like, a lot of people tweeting, me included. I did like and, in fact, post the shady tweets. They were like, men need to stop watching the show. Men need to stop watching the show. Because, like, honestly, the reactions to these female islanders, these women islanders, these girl islanders, the reaction to these women is insane. The hate train that Anaya is currently going through over KC of all people, is insane. We see the amount of vitriol that these women are getting, and why. I think people often view Love Island in a very level-headed view, but everything has nuance. A lot of this hate that Anaya and even Trinity is getting, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It has nuance. So when we sit down and we ask each other, why are these islanders getting so much hate? Why are the women getting so much hate as positioned to the men? And we see, and it's quite literally crickets, because one of my favorite things to do is when I'm talking to someone or when I'm having a debate or just trying to understand, I ask the person, okay, explain this to me without like sounding misogynistic, without explain this to me without sounding misogynistic. A lot of people, well, everybody fails. Everyone fails. If we look at the public's reception to the like these macho attitudes, I'm saying, like these sport accounts, their reactions to Sincere and Melanie got a lot of hate. She got a lot of hate. She was chastised for her challenge performance of Sincere and Corbin. She was labeled as promiscuous. She was labeled as promiscuous. She was labeled as, like, she was called a slut. She was called a whore. She was called all of these names. But when we saw Sincere's performance and how he basically juggled Soul and Melanie, it was a masterclass. It was, oh, he's dogging them out, like, oh, good job, Sincere. Everyone is praising him when I don't even think what Melanie did was bad. Everyone's praising him. Yet Melanie was teared apart. And then when we look into Anaya's case, I don't understand the hate behind Anaya, besides it giving like colorism. I can't see Anaya's hate train without it giving colorism, especially when Soul Society was raging on Twitter, and everybody thought Soul was a spiritual girl because he had a pixie cut. Like, we see Anaya getting framed as insecure, um, prudish, and boring. Um, but when we look at Zach, who is clearly text point, like case in point, someone who is deeply insecure about their relationship, especially after this episode. And Zach had a lot to say about Anaya's insecurity, which was not insecurity when Casey was lying to her. We see someone actually be insecure, and we see somebody who's getting labeled insecure. That's two different attitudes, two different behaviors. Zach is acting very insecure towards his relationship with Kata. Anaya, wanting reassurance does not make you insecure. Wanting honesty does not make you insecure. Wanting transparency does not make you insecure. I think people tend to forget that in her promo, well, not in the whole promo, in the very first moments of episode 1, Anaya said to herself, "Oh, I love it when girls have a roster." Who do y'all think y'all are playing with? Like, who do you guys think this woman is? I see the grainy comment that was made towards Anaya and then has then been parroted around like social media, actually disgusting. And it's just, to me, it's giving people don't understand consent, because you might be like, oh my god, this is reach. It's really not, especially if we see the societal themes in Love Island. Casey was not being very, what we call, respective of Anaya's boundaries. And I even said, damn, why can't a girl have boundaries? What are we still doing here? What are we still doing here? How can we defend Casey if he is pushing past her boundaries and breaking them? And then chastising her for having those boundaries? That's disrespectful. That's weird. And people are like, oh, Casey needs to find a girl. Like, Casey needs to find a better girl. The demonization of Anaya when she's done nothing wrong, you would have thought Anaya killed somebody with the way people are acting. No. She didn't. She just expects her connection to be transparent with her. And I see a lot of hate of Anaya becoming, oh, she's latching onto Casey. She doesn't want Casey to explore because she doesn't have to explore with anybody else. What are y'all not understanding? We're watching about an hour of a day of 24 hours that these islanders go through. We don't see anything that production doesn't want us to see. Like, we are seeing what production is giving us. And what production is giving us is that Anaya hasn't had any chats. Does that mean that Anaya has not had any chats? No, that doesn't. But when you think about the bombshells, they all attach to the couples pretty quickly. Granted, Casey wanted, granted, we haven't seen Casey pull anyone either up until Soul. It wasn't everybody's getting to know each other. People latched onto the couples pretty quickly. And we have confirmation that Sean was interested to Anaya, so y'all can't be like, oh, nobody wants Anaya. You can't, like, that's null and void. That's null and void. So why do you really, like, why don't people really don't like Anaya? Like, why? Like, these OG girls, like, they're getting a lot of hate. They're getting a lot of vitriol from these men, and it's just like, and now that Casa is here, and we see a new influx of girls. Every man wants, every male tweeter wants every man in that villa to change who they're dating and be like, oh, out with the old. And it's just like, wow, well, it's like, wow, misogyny and patriarchy really runs deep. Like, it runs deep. It really runs deep. And onto the Twitter discourse, people are like, men need to stop watching the show. And I'm not gonna lie, they do, because you're bringing such misogynistic and patriarchal viewpoints into a show that to a fandom that really doesn't need that. I'm not gonna lie to you, Love Island fandom has been very women centered. Like, they love the girls in that villa final four. Like, what they're going to latch onto the girls. Like, that's it. Like, that's it. Like, that's the truth. Like, that's the truth. And so when you see these men come in and obviously latch onto the men and then spew just such misogyny, it actually becomes harmful. Because, like, yeah, like, Love Island is, people view it as entertainment, people view it as drama. I feel like the misogyny and the talking points that the men who are watching the show, they're turning Love Island into an intersexual competition when friendship has also been very much a part of that. In the same way, like, friendship has always been a part of that. Like, friendship. What are we gonna say? Like, it's just a misogynistic sexual competition of who's going to get the victor, the prize, aka the man. And it's really, it really is that deep. It really is that deep to me. It is. Like, I don't care, my little child. It is that deep. It is that deep to me. Because everything is nuanced. Nothing exists by itself. Nothing exists by itself. A man watching Love Island is not the same as I saw. Okay, and then now the reactions to the men, like, oh, y'all talking about, oh, who gonna be the boys? Y'all being homophobic. One, you don't know what homophobic means. You don't know what homophobic means. You don't know what homophobic means. That's not homophobia. No. But it's like, how are you going to come into a fandom, spew vitriol, spew hate to a region and a sector of Islanders that you know will always be the fan favorite? The women Islanders will always be the fandom's fan favorite. Always. Unless you see, like, and that's not even always, because I know, like, what? Because it's mostly women watching the show. Mostly women, like, gay people and stuff. I'm not saying, like, Love Island is a cool show. I'm not saying that. You see that. Spew misogynistic viewpoints. Get on the men's side. Trash on the women Islanders. And you are surprised why people don't want you to watch and engage with the content anymore. And then y'all finally understand. Y'all be like, oh, but if we were saying, oh, you need to go back into the kitchen after we watch sports, that's not the same thing, and you know that. That's not the same thing, and you know that. You know that. I can't stand when niggas purposefully act dense when it comes to that. Like, no. What? What? Like, that Zach Campbell mean what? It's honestly pathetic when the men who receive this, they be like, oh, this is just homophobic. That's not what homophobia is. Nobody is saying, oh, y'all need to go fix. Like, no, one, nobody's quite literally being serious. Two, we would have never encountered this problem with this joke if you weren't misogynistic. I don't understand why people don't think niggas are gonna go lower. You go low, people are going to go lower, and in turn, they're going to, like, make a joke that's gonna offend you. Like, be like, oh, whoa. You're like, oh, that's actually being homophobic. How is that being mean to gay people quickly? Tell me how without sounding, without sounding homophobic yourself. Like, tell me how. No, tell me how. Tell me how. Because, like, tell me how. Like, and it's a joke anyway. And even, like, and let's deep it. Yes, saying men used to build things, men used to speak things. It's very much referencing gender norms, but that does not carry the same amount of violence and I'm gonna be quite frank, the same amount of power that the same amount of power as misogynistic remarks do. Like, that's just the truth. Like, that's quite literally just the truth. It does not carry the same amount of power. It does not carry the same amount of weight. It's quite literally akin to white people. Like, white people be like, it's quite literally akin to that. Like, I'm going to keep it a being with you. Because men are oppressors. Like, this is patriarchy. You're just mad that you're the butt of the joke. This is actually no harm. This is actually no effect toward you. While misogynistic viewpoints in general do have actual effect on real life women and real life feminine and feminine bodies and people. Like, it's not the same. And you know that. You know that. But it's not fun. Like, it's not fun. And seeing the way that people react, even the women react to these male islanders, the amount of sympathy that Casey is garnering, and how Anaya is being framed as an insecure person for just wanting transparency, it will just show you that women are often enablers of misogyny, of patriarchy. They often will be the guard outside of the prison cell. And you might be like, oh my goodness, this is such a reach for saying that. But some reaches actually touch the surface. Some reaches actually can like touch the stars. Like, I'm reaching for the stars and I'm touching them actually. I think I was able to say everything I wanted to say. I have to be very concise. This video is all these 17 minutes. I'll see if I can cut some stuff down, but bye.